All right, today we're going to dive into something that's, well, it's everywhere, but most of us don't even really see it. We're talking about the global story of cooperative movements.
So, have you ever shopped at a food co-op or maybe banked at a credit union? I'm guessing the answer is yes. You might even be a member of one and not think twice about it. They're just part of the landscape, right? And that's exactly what we're getting into today. You see the branches all around you, but where are the roots? I mean, how did this simple idea, people just helping each other out, blossom into this massive worldwide thing? Okay, so to really get this, we've got to go way, way back. Because here's the thing. While the modern cooperative movement has a definite birthday, the idea behind it, oh, that's as old as people are.
So, here's the roadmap. We're going to start in ancient times, with the first ever examples of people banding together. Then we'll see how those informal groups kind of set the stage for something huge, a big shift during the Industrial Revolution. That crisis, that was the spark that really lit the fire and turned this whole thing into a global movement.
So what are we really talking about here? The cooperative idea, it's actually super simple, but it's also really powerful. It's just people choosing to work together, not as a charity, but for their own shared benefit, social, economic, you name it. This idea of we own this together, that's the engine behind everything.
All right, let's jump forward to a massive turning point, the Industrial Revolution. I mean, this was a time of incredible invention, right? But also created some serious social nightmares. You had insane wealth for a tiny few, and on the other side, just brutal, tough conditions for millions of regular workers and farmers. Something had to give. People were desperate for a better way to just survive, let alone get ahead. And you know what's amazing? In the middle of all that chaos, they didn't just sit around waiting for someone to save them. Nope. They organized, they built brand new ways of doing things, new economic models, literally from the ground up. And what's so cool is that you get these two different powerful models popping up at roughly the same time, but they're tackling different problems. Over in Germany, you've got folks like Raiffeisen and Schulze. Their big focus was on credit. They created these member-owned banks, basically, to help small farmers and craftspeople escape from loan sharks. Then, at the same time in England, in these gritty industrial towns, the problem was different. It was about getting decent food. So you get the Rochdale pioneers who started their own member-owned grocery stores to sell affordable, quality stuff they could trust. See? Two very different problems, but the same fundamental solution, working together. Well, an idea this good, this powerful, it's not going to stay put for long, right? It just couldn't be contained in Europe. It started to spread like wildfire across the globe. And what's really interesting is how it changed and adapted to fit the local needs of all these different places. So, to really see how flexible this whole cooperative thing is, let's go on a quick world tour. We're going to hit the US, Israel, Japan, India, and Kenya. It's amazing to see how this one core principle was tweaked to solve totally different problems and create some really profound change. Okay, first stop, the USA. Picture this. Big, for-profit power companies just couldn't be bothered to run electricity out to remote farms. It wasn't worth their money. So what happened? The farmers and folks living out there said, fine, we'll do it ourselves. They formed their own electric co-ops, and boom, they brought power to rural America. It completely transformed the country. Next up, Israel. In the early 20th century, the cooperative model was used for nation building itself. The famous kibbutz and moshav. These weren't just collective farms. They were entire communities, built from scratch based on shared ownership and democratic principles. It's pretty incredible. Now let's jump over to Japan, which is just a fascinating case study in taking this whole idea to an unbelievable scale. We're talking about massive, deeply woven networks of co-ops that serve tens of millions of people. They influence pretty much everything, from the food people eat to the life insurance they buy. And you really can't talk about the power of co-ops without talking about India. There's this network of dairy co-ops, with the most famous one being Amul, that literally started what's called the White Revolution. They connected millions of small individual dairy farmers into this national milk grid. And the result? They turned India into the world's biggest milk producer. It was a revolution, built one village, one farmer at a time. It's a similar story in Kenya. You had all these small-scale coffee farmers who were basically at the mercy of huge, powerful buyers. They had no leverage. But by forming cooperatives, they could pool all their coffee together, process it, And suddenly, they could negotiate on the world stage from a position of real strength. It was a total game changer.
Okay, so we've just been all over the world and through history. What's the takeaway here? What's the common thread that makes this idea, born back in the 19th century, still so incredibly relevant today?
I think it really boils down to this. A cooperative isn't just a way of doing business. It's bigger than that. It's a philosophy. It's this deep belief that progress ought to be shared, and that fundamentally we can get so much more done together than we ever could on our own.
And that philosophy isn't just some nice thought. It's literally baked into the DNA of how these things are run. I mean, think about it. Democratic control, every member gets one vote. It's open to anyone. The people who use the service are the ones who benefit financially. These aren't just abstract ideas. This is the actual rulebook that has kept this movement going for more than 150 years.
And that brings us right back to now. You look at our world today with these giant digital platforms and the whole gig economy, and suddenly that old cooperative idea seems more important than ever, doesn't it? The challenges look different now, for sure, but that basic human need to work together for a common good, that's not going anywhere. So the big question for all of us is, what's next? What does cooperation look like in our time?